In this session of Tune In, we have a very special guest with us, Ms. Ruchi Khajanchi, who's the Chief Financial Officer of A91 Partners. She has spearheaded the effort of A91's gift presence, one of the first few funds to have implemented this structure in the gift space. Ruchi, thank you very much for being with us and spending time with us today.
Thank you, Aditya, for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Ruchi. We really wanted to get your thoughts on the practical aspects of establishing in the gift city. One of the first few AIFs to register in the gift city, A91 has been a pioneer in terms of its size, complexity, and the significant pooling from institutional overseas investors. Could you tell us why you chose the gift city?
So while we were doing our second fundraise, initially we thought that we will continue with our Fund 1 structure, which is having the feeder fund at the Mauritius level, which in turn invests into an AIF in India, and then AIF eventually invests into the portfolio companies. But while we were in the process of our fundraise, two things emerged. One, that Mauritius was put under the grey list of FATF, and a lot of positive changes and amendments were made into the gift regime, which was making it a very attractive and a viable option for the Indian managers to set up operations. Even our LPs were having a couple of concerns around having the feeder fund at the Mauritius level, and that's how we went back to the drawing board and realized that's the most viable solution for us to kind of move Mauritius, the feeder vehicle from Mauritius to some other jurisdiction. And GIFT turned out to be a natural choice for us with the benefits that it had to offer, and also practical from our perspective, at least from A91 perspective. And that's how we chose GIFT as a feeder fund jurisdiction for our fund.
It's interesting, Ruchi. Especially because at the time that you set up in GIFT, there really wasn't, an established test case which had implemented and operationalized the structure. Being an emerging hub, the gift city, I'm sure your conversations with the investors would have been very different from, taking to them the structure that they're familiar with. Could you shed some light on how this was received by them?
Yes, absolutely, Aditya. There was actually a lot of skepticism around, having the feeder fund at the GIFT level. There were questions around tax regime, what happens if in future the law changes. But we were confident that we will be able to convince our LPs in terms of why GIFT is an ideal jurisdiction for us to set up the feeder fund with the benefits that it has to offer. And they saw the benefit that the GIFT had to offer. And eventually we kind of have 90% of our offshore LPs coming into GIFT directly.
I wanted to pick up on something that you said, that you had positive conversations with your LPs. And I'm sure that in those conversations, you would have highlighted some of the advantages. And now, of course, some of the advantages have come even at a later period of time. But in your view, what would be some of the key advantages for, overseas institutional LPs coming into a fund which is based out of the gift city?
Sure, Aditya. So basically the advantages, if I have to compare, I will compare it with investing directly into India. So from an LP perspective, the most advantageous thing for them was that though they were investing in GIFT, which is in India, they don't need to file income tax returns in India. They don't need to obtain PAN. At the end of the day, GIFT is an offshore jurisdiction. So there is easy inflow and outflow of funds. So these are the broad level advantages which LPs can enjoy while investing at the GIFT level. At that point in time, there was no flexibility around co-investment or leverage, but down the line, we've seen even those advantages and those flexibilities being offered at the GIFT level.
Actually, quite right, Ruchi, because even the entire regime underwent a change after you had already established. And the new regime is significantly simpler. It allows for SPVs through which you can do co-investments. You can lever up. I certainly think that the LPs would find that fairly advantageous. But tell me, just focusing on some of the practical challenges, because the regime was new, you were one of the few first to set up there. Could you tell me what sort of wrinkles you needed to iron out? What sort of practical challenges you faced?
Yes, because it was absolutely new for us, a new territory that we were kind of venturing into. There were a couple of practical or initial teething problems. For example, when we set up, we had a concern around how the sponsor commitment would be, remitted to the fund level, because at that point in time there was no clarity on it. We had to make multiple applications to multiple authorities. For example, there was a separate application to IFS, CA, SEZ. You had to probably set up or have two offices, one for the fund manager, one for the fund itself. So these were the initial teething problems, but we've been able to navigate well through all of these problems, because the authorities are really forthcoming. They're really there to help you. I've never seen any authorities who are, kind of helping you along the process. So hats off to the team at the GIFT who've been kind of assisting us. And I see a lot of these problems now getting solved.
I guess overall that's a very good picture for the GIFT City, and certainly for the regulator. Just looking into the future, Ruchi, as this regime evolves, we feel that it is likely to present a host of opportunities for domestic as well as global managers. In your view, how do you see the asset management ecosystem evolving? As the GIFT City matures?
With my interactions with the authorities, I realized that they are here to set up a world-class financial hub which will attract a lot of not even Indian managers, I would say a lot of global managers. In 2021, we were first few of us, and now I think there are roughly 30-35 fund managers who've already set up operations. So I feel they are moving in the right direction. It's comparable to any other global financial services hub, and I see that a lot of funds will have operations at the GIFT level.
It has been heartening to see how you went about setting up in GIFT as a pioneer, but continue to support the structure there, even in the operational aspects. Well, Ruchi, thank you so very much for spending time with us and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, Aditya. It was a pleasure speaking to you.